Hey, what's up guys, it's TBone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So since the last episode where I did a stream and I opened a bunch of packs and got nothing, I was able to go through the game, get the runes I could, and use the remaining of my gems. So I didn't buy any more, just use the remaining to buy the missing ultra rare runes so I can get both Master Collection card and the ultra rare. So I do have the ultra form as well. So I will show how that works, but the main focus for today's episode is to go through some decks that don't require them. So I want to show you a couple of teams that I'm really excited to talk about the support card, which I'm going to show you because this is one of the better support cards that we've seen in recent weeks, and let's see how they work. All of the decks I'm going to show are going to use 2 support cards, and I highly recommend getting a second support card because it will help you with damage. I brought in Lafer to dispel Gem Silence, otherwise I wouldn't have brought him because I just wanted to show how this works. And for another card you'll want is a card that can give you power gems such as Halder here. So on turn 2, what you want to do is you want to activate the battle skills of the support cards only, and then you do a gem match so you ensure you do attack. At this point you should notice that there's a couple of icons there. We're going to pause right here. Each of these icons represent a passive ability that will create 3 water gems every time Kaliba attacks. And so since there are 6 of these icons, what that means is an additional 18 water gems that will be created, but that's on top of the 3 from each of the Kalibas. So you'll get a total of 24 gems, and there are already 10 water gems on the board, so we will see 34 water gems after this attack. Now that the board is pretty much full of water gems, you'll then go ahead and activate the battle skill for Haldor to get more power gems, and with this match you'll get over 12 billion damage per support card, which is more than sufficient for a lot of the bosses that you'll be facing. Now let's start exploring different builds here. So in this particular build, I do have Cooper T here to dispel Gem Silence, but like I said, you could use any other card that dispels Gem Silence here, and that'll be okay. But the focal point here should be the card on the far right, which is Precambrian, the event card from the last Water Commander event. So this card will actually increase the damage taken by the boss by 20% every time you activate it. So timing is going to be a little bit important here. If you're using this card, then you don't want to activate a support card yet until the counter up on the far left goes down to 2. At that point, when the counter goes to 2, that's when you go ahead and activate the battle skill for your 2 support cards, and then go ahead and make sure you do a match. At this point, the cooldown for the Precambrian will actually end, and this is the perfect time to then go ahead and activate all of the skills, including Cooper T, to get the maximum number of power gems on the board and additional damage boost. And then when you do the power gem match, you'll see that the damage actually goes up quite a bit. Each of the support cards can deal 33.5 billion damage, and it can deal quite a bit of damage with this card in play. In keeping the spirit with increasing the damage of your team, you can also use Poseidon if you don't have Precambrian. Now Poseidon is actually a card that I pulled from the 5-star collection, and you might have gotten as well. So he will actually increase the water effectiveness against fire bosses. With this team, you don't need to wait for any timer, so go ahead and activate the battle skill of support cards immediately and do a match. At that point, once your board is full of gems, then go ahead and activate the power gem and then also activate Poseidon. When you do this and then you do the power gem swap, the total damage output for each of the support cards is going to be about 21.5 billion. Now, if you take this in comparison and see the actual damage without the battle skill, you can actually see that the damage output has decreased down to 18.9 billion. So it's not a huge difference, but it still is an increase in your overall damage. So this can help if you are short on cards or are looking for more ideas. Another card that you can try in this sort of meta is also Farrah. So Farrah has the battle skill that will increase the amount of damage taken by the enemies by 25%. So very similar to Precambrian's first boost. And so with this setup, similar to how you would play with Poseidon, it's exactly the same thing. You go ahead and activate the battle skill of your support card first. It's going to be the same play. This is how you want to play this type of deck for this event. And once you have the board filled up, then you go ahead and activate your battle skills for the remainder of the bosses, for the remainder of your cards. Now there's slightly fewer gems on the board here, and so the damage is going to be a little lower at 14.5 for each of the support cards, but you can see how this plays out. Now, if you don't have Haldor, you can also try using Summertime Aphrodite, which is a power gem spawner as well. For this particular build, the timing is a little bit different because you don't want to activate your support cards right away. You actually want to make sure that you have 2 attacks in first before you activate the skills, because this will allow Summertime Aphrodite to create 2 power gems. You'll see what happens here. So at this point, after you activate the support card on the second hit, now you do another match. This will be the 3rd hit, and Summertime Aphrodite has a skill that will create additional power gems on the 3rd hit, and so you get 2 additional power gem 2s, and then you can also get 3 power gems each from the Summertime Aphrodite cards. So then you go ahead and activate, do the power gem swap. Now the damage is going to be lower here, so it's 15.8 for each of the support cards because you don't have power gem 4s, but it still packs a punch. Then I'm going to start showing teams that are capable of dealing more damage, and this is an extremely solid and really good build using 2 supports, 2 Kaliba, and also 1 Cooper T, and then 2 Haldors from the previous Water Slayer event. So this plays the same way. You would activate your 2 support cards first to make sure that you can get more support, more gems on the board, and also look for opportunities to create more power gems without consuming some of them, like as you can see what I did there. Now you can go ahead and activate all the skills. Now I chose to activate Cooper T last because I didn't care about the fact that the nuke could go off, but generally you want to activate them first, especially if there's not a lot of power gem 4s on the board. So with this setup, you can deal over 200 billion damage easily with this team, and that doesn't require any ultra rare or master collection cards. Now, interestingly, if you replace a Haldor with a second Cooper T, this team ends up dealing a little bit less damage because you're trading 4 Power Gem 4s for 4 Power Gem 1s. Even though there is a Slayer bonus difference, overall, though, the team will benefit more from having higher power gems, and so having 2 Haldors actually will benefit a bit more, as we will see later. So at this point, we'll go ahead and activate all of the skills, and you can see that with 2 Cooper Ts, you're going to have 8 Power Gem 1s. But now we only have 4 power gen 4s added instead of the 8. And with this particular setup, even with the drops and additional hits, we end up hitting about 180 billion instead of the 200 plus billion that we saw earlier. And now what I want to do is showcase what the full team is capable of doing. I'll start with the Ultra Rare and the Master Collection combo. I gotta tell you, I was really sad to let go of the Ultra Rare card because I really liked her, but I'll talk about the team afterwards. So the way you would activate the cards, you would activate the Ultra Rare card the same time as your support card. So you can get additional gems and power gems created, and then you activate Cooper T and also the Master Collection card. Now if you take a closer look here, you'll see that the Ultra Rare card and the Master Collection card have a shimmer on the card. This is an indication that it has the Noble Killer status applied, so it will deal 200% damage against this boss since it's a Fable card. And here's the interesting thing. So with this particular setup, after everything is said and done, you'll see that this is able to deal approximately 215 billion damage, which is just a little bit higher than the previous team we saw with 2 Haldors. Again, this is because of the difference in the number of power gems here, and this is where the ultimate form really comes in, and we're going to take a look at this deck next. So what I like to do is showcase the ultimate form using the ultimate boss. And so the way you actually summon the ultimate boss is in the event store. You need to get 4 tokens, and you can get tokens by getting either 5% or MVP on the Radiant bosses. So once you summon them, you'll actually have 5 minutes to try and defeat it. Right now we're going up against level 1 Farrah the Scorned. And you'll see that the ultimate form card here, it actually applies to Noble Killer to all of the cards here. So each of these cards now actually has the 400% added bonus against Farrah since she is honored. And so I didn't actually do any waiting, I just activated everything. You activate the ultimate form the same way as you would a support card. You get 4 additional power gem 4s that way. And I added Haldor in the team as well because I think this is optimal. So with this particular setup without any boost, I was able to take the boss down from 1.5 trillion to just about 500 billion. So I was able to deal about 1 trillion damage just by that setup. Now the next thing I want to do is actually get the ultimate gem. I wanted to see how it works. So in order to get the ultimate gem to work, you need to have at least 150 Slayer intensity. And so I have a 5 turn cooldown, so there's about 3 more turns to go. I need to wait until I'm at intensity 240 before I can actually activate the skills again. So this very next turn, what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to activate the battle skills, so you basically rinse and repeat. Now, once you activate the skill of the ultimate form, this is when that special power gem appears. I don't know whether that actually counts if you do a power gem swap, like you would with any other normal power gems. So I actually decided to just go for it and see how much damage I would be able to deal. And in this particular case, I was able to deal about 1.7 trillion damage, and the total damage output is about 2.7 trillion damage. So this is definitely one of the most powerful decks that I've seen to date. So that's all for today's episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully the decks I've shown are going to be more viable for you, some of the more budget-friendly decks I've shown you. The one I really like the most is the one with 2 Haldors and 2 support cards. I think it's a very, very good deck that you can use, that you can get some quick damage on. So hopefully that's something that you're able to use for your own event. I did also want to make sure that I showcase the full event deck and also the one with the ultimate form, because it is something that I think that, you know, is new. So I wanted to show everybody and see how it works. So thanks a lot for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know your feedback. And thanks a lot for your time. And I look forward to hearing from you. Take care. I'll see you next time.